Testing, 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 testing. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mount Lebanon High School Stadium for tonight's matchup between your Mount Lebanon Blue Devils and Quaker Valley. Hello, everybody. Colin Whitty here, ready to bring you this action. Mount Lebanon comes in with one senior tonight, Morgan Palmer, as well as three juniors in the starting lineup, Murdoch, Connor, and Collins, and rounding up the sophomore Anna Strife. So it should be a fun one, folks. Matchups coming up shortly, just about a minute away from the tip-off, so we'll hand it over now to the PA address announcer. The starting lineup for the Quaker Valley Quakers: number 0, Corinne Washington, the senior; number 3, Bailey Garby, the senior; number 10, Nora Johns, the sophomore; number 33, the junior, Lauren Blackmer; and number 34, the center, the senior, Claire Kuzma. And for the Blue Devils, like I said earlier, Morgan Palmer, Brooke Collins, Ashley Connor, Reagan Murdoch, and Anna Strife round up the Blue Devils starting lineup, but they do sub in a lot and get some fresh bodies out there. So it should be a fun one here, folks. Just looking at the Quaker Valley starting lineup, they have 4 starters 5'11" or above. So Mount Lebanon not a very tall team, so rebound could be a factor for the Quakers if they want to get this victory here on the road against Mount Lebanon. It will be Kuzma and Palmer to jump. We're underway. Violation on Strife. We have Quaker Valley ball. As Bailey Garby will handle the offense for the Quakers. Guarded tightly by Strife, top of the key. Washington puts a good dribble on, passes to Blackmer. Drives to the middle of the key, now looking back for Washington. She'll look to drive. Up against Palmer. Doesn't get that one to go. Ball bounce around in the hands of Reagan Murdoch. Murdoch looks to push. She has an open lane and will take a little mid-range pull-up. That one's wide of the mark. Rebound Washington. Little pull-up. That's wide of the mark. Palmer rebound. 2 missed shots early by Quaker Valley. As Strife swings it to Connor in the quarter, thought about the 3, will look to drive. She'll take a little mid-range pull-up. That one's short. Rebound Kuzma. We've hit 1 minute through the game so far. No bucket for either team as Garby will look to change that. Flips it over to Kuzma. She'll take a little mid-range pull-up. Doesn't get that one to go. Rebound Murdoch. Right side is Murdoch. Will flip it to Collins. Collins thought one way, goes the other. Quaker Valley in a 1-3-1 zone. In the 1-3-1 zone, the corners should be open for corner 3s. And they look to attack. Strife looks to attack, now flip it to Palmer. Palmer thought about the 3, will drive in. Flip it back out to Strife. Murdoch will look to go hard. And doesn't get that way up to go. Rebound Kuzma. Mount Lebanon running man offense. As now Garby has it, flips it over to Kuzma, back over to Washington. Top of the key, guarded by Connor. Ashley Connor, the leading scorers for the Blue Devils, looks inside for Garby, and Garby gets that one to fall. So 2 minutes into this game, the Quaker Valley Quakers draw first blood. Palmer will look inside to Collins, and she'll pull it back out. We got a trap in the corner on Collins, but she finds a way to hit it to Connor. As Strife will cut, now she'll pull it out to Ashley Connor. Right wing 3. Got it! Ashley Connor, the wing 3. As Quaker Valley, their players look really tired, and we're only 2.5 minutes into this game. Washington trying to answer, going baseline. We'll look to pass. No one there, but I feel like Palmer got a hand of it. Maybe Murdoch did. So the Quakers will retain possession. Inbound to Garby, back over to Johns. I believe we have double dribble, yes, on Nora Johns, a sophomore, 5'7", guard, number 10. We'll turn it over for the Quakers. And they are still in that 1-3-1, with Garby handling the top. Corner should be open for the Blue Devils all night, as will the middle of the basket to drive. As Palmer had some trouble but does retain possession. Last touch by Washington. And smartly here, the Quaker Valley, not a smart idea to go 1-3-1 when they're upping it, so they just go to a 2-3, excuse me. As Connor flips it, corner to Murdoch, back to Connor. Wing 3. That one's wide of the mark. Rebound Kuzma. Washington far side, guarded by Connor. She'll look to drive. She does drive. Looking over Connor, doesn't go. As Strife got a last touch at it. And the Quakers retain possession, as we'll see some subs for the Blue Devils. Number 5, Gina Smith, the sophomore, will come in. And number 4, Anna Strife will take a seat for Doria Oldacker and her squad. Far side is Garby, guarded by the newly sub Smith. Garley will look to drive. Drives to the middle of the key and gets that one to fall. Bailey Garby, the senior, 5'11" guard. If you get it to the middle of the key here, Mount Lebanon should break this 1-3-1 press pretty easily as they find Palmer in the corner. She'll try to three. That's too strong. Bounces right to Connor. Connor will look to drive. She'll go up with it, and she's fouled on the play. Ashley Connor will go to the line for two. That foul's called on Lauren Blackmer, the junior, the 5'11" center for the Quakers. As Connor gets that one to go, and in comes Anna Strife again as the junior Brooke Collins will take a seat for the Blue Devils. As Connor goes 2 for 2 from the line, and Mount Lebanon takes a 5-4 lead. As Kuzma will look to go, finds Washington inside the middle of the key. Tough fadeaway pull-up, doesn't get that one to go. Ball bouncing right to Ashley Connor. Up to Palmer now. Palmer hands it back off to Connor and points direction. 1-3-1 still on for the Quakers as they find Connor. Tried the wing three, blocked by Blackmer. And Johns will look to drive. Flips it off to Washington, trying the backdoor. Connor not having none of that. They'll find Garby going on Strife. Murdoch will come for the trap. Garby gets a step, but stolen from behind by Murdoch. We just hit the 3:30-minute mark in this first quarter. Smith, she'll try to corner three, and she'll get that one to fall. Gina Smith. An 8-4 lead now for the Blue Devils. Johns will kick it to the corner to Blackmer, back to Johns. We'll hand it off to Washington on Palmer. Between the legs, fadeaway pull-up, doesn't get that one to fall. Rebound, Smith. Smith will look to penetrate on this 1-3-1. Palmer, she'll try the little pull-up and get that one to fall. Timeout, Quakers. 2:55 remaining in this first quarter. Mount Lebanon 10, the Quaker Valley Quakers 4. We'll be back right after this timeout. Back from the timeout with Mount Lebanon having a 6-point lead now, 10-4, with 2:55 remaining in the first quarter. Inbounds it to Garby. Washington now guarded by Strife. Strife got her hand in there, but they do call a foul on her. As Johns will look to inbound, finds Blackmer. Back to Johns now. Far side now is Johns. Flips it to Kuzma, misses that layup, rebound Collins. And she'll look ahead to Smith. Smith, a little pump fake, doesn't get that layup to fall. Flips it over to Collins, back out to Murdoch, top of the key. That one's wide of the mark. Petco fighting hard for the rebound, keeps it in, but flips it right to Nora Johns. Johns now up to Garby. Bailey Garby doesn't get that layup to fall as Collins was fighting for it, but last touch by Kuzma. Incoming subs now for the Blue Devils. Connor and Palmer coming in with Petco and Murdoch taking a seat for the Blue Devils. And for the Quakers, Jordan Ray, the 5'8" sophomore, enters the game for Quaker Valley. As she'll be on the right side of the 1-3-1. They're looking for trap, but Connor smartly cuts, doesn't get that pull up to fall. Last touch by Strife. Quaker Valley basketball. Jordan flips it over, eventually finds Garby. And newly incoming Ray Jordan hits that three-pointer. Jordan Ray, excuse me, hits that three-pointer, cuts it to a three-point lead. Palmer's wide open, Collins couldn't find her. As Smith having some trouble with it, as Connor finds Strife in the three, she'll go baseline. Anna Strife will put it up and get fouled. Strife will go to the line for two. Foul called on Nora Johns, the sophomore. Strife will go to the line for two. Murdoch returns for the Blue Devils. Smith will take a seat. Strife will go 2 for 2. Back to a 5-point lead. Washington will put a good move on Connor and now flip it to Ray. Ray now hands it off to Garby. Thought about the little pull-up, now takes it. And gets that one to fall. Bailey Garby coming along here, the senior. Now Connor in the corner, flips it back out to Palmer, will look to drive. Palmer over to Murdoch in the corner. We'll find Collins down low. Collins will put it up. Doesn't get it to fall, but is fouled on the play by Ray. And she'll go to the line for 2. Collins hits the first of 2. And too strong on the second, 1 for 2 for Collins. Up ahead to Ray. Eventually finds Johns, back out to Garby now. Hands it off to Washington. Corinne Washington puts a good move on Connor. A tough pull-up shot. Box out by Palmer. Finds the hands of Johns, but she stepped on the baseline. So it will be Blue Devils basketball. Mount Lebanon in white, Quaker Valley in black. Eventually finds Palmer's hands in the corner, now back out to Connor, flips it over to Collins in the corner, she'll pull it back out to Connor. Ashley Connor will find Strife. Strife looks to penetrate, now pulls it back out. 10 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Tipped by Garby and Collins, they want a backcourt shot. Murdoch short on the wing 3, and that will wrap up the first quarter with the score. Your Mount Lebanon Blue Devils 13, the Quaker Valley Quakers 9. We'll be back for the second quarter action right after this. Back with second quarter action, Mount Lebanon possession. Mount Lebanon leading Quaker Valley 13-9. Quaker Valley staying in that 1-3-1 zone. Connor's wide open in the paint. Collins can't find her. Too tough of a pass. Cross court now to Connor, far side wing. Back over to Murdoch. Ball movement key for the Blue Devils. Bounce pass to Collins. Corner three. Off of the mark. Rebound Garby. Flips it over to Corinne Washington. Puts an in and out move on Connor. Will look to drive. Back out to Kuzma. Over to the corner, and Washington gets a screen from Kuzma. And they're going to call that an illegal screen. Mount Lebanon possession now. Almost stolen by Garby. Strife recovers. Over to Palmer, now looking for Connor, finds her. Ashley Connor will flip it over to Murdoch, looking inside for Collins, now looks to drive. Murdoch, little pull-up, doesn't get that one to go. Rebound Washington. Washington will look ahead to Garby, finds her. Far side, little pull-up, foul line, too strong. Rebound Kuzma, back out to Garby, now over to Washington, far side against Connor. He'll post up Kuzma, give it to her, up against Murdoch, one-on-one, doesn't get that one to fall. Rebound Murdoch. Murdoch will look to drive in, finds Ashley Connor in the corner. Connor will go in between the two defenders and now flips it over to Strife, now kicks it to Collins. Collins goes baseline, eventually finds Murdoch. Good bounce pass to Connor, but a foul is going to be called. And Murdoch, slow to get up. And Murdoch may have got the wind knocked out of her. Murdoch will take a seat, and Smith will come back in for the Blue Devils. Palmer now near side will look to Strife, finds her. Over to Smith. Smith far side. Connor now. Behind the back move now will look to drive. Does drive and gets that layup to fall. Ashley Connor. (15-9) game now in favor of the Blue Devils. Screen by Kuzma. Washington will look to drive. Stops at the little post up. Now finds its hands to Blackmer. Blackmer guarded by Connor will look to find the cutting Garby. And Garby gets that one to fall and one. She'll go to the line to try and convert the three-point play. Foul called on Palmer, her first. Team foul number 2 for the Blue Devils. As Ray will come back in. And Blackmer will take a seat for the Quakers. Garby gets that one to go. Now Mount Lebanon has it. Collins thought about giving it back to Smith. Doesn't. Stolen by Kuzma. But Collins gets a piece of Kuzma's hands. Luckily, because Quaker Valley had numbers going the other way. So not the worst foul for the Blue Devils. Kuzma looks inbound. Stolen by Connor. She'll take the little pull-up. Doesn't get it to go, but fouled on the play by Ray. And Ashley Connor will go to the line for 2. Connor short on the first one. And short on the second. Connor misses both. It remains a one-possession game. Garby guarded by Strife will get a screen by Kuzma, maybe an illegal screen as Washington will look to drive. Flip it over to Kuzma, misses that layup, but tried to regain a rebound. Didn't get that one to go. Last touch by Kuzma. As we'll see another sub for the Quakers, number 20, Allison Whitty. The senior. And the 2-3 zone now for Quaker Valley. Far side, near side is Smith. Doesn't get that three to go. Rebound in Washington. And she'll look to drive it. Guarded by Smith, will flip it out to Ray. Ray flips it over to Johns. Johns guarded by Collins will get a screen. Back to Washington now, guarded by Smith. Ray thought about the three, doesn't take it up over to Garby, far side. Looks for a screen from Whitty, doesn't take it. Over to Ray. Ray thought about the three, kicks it back to Johns, and Johns get that one to go. Tie ball game. So knotted up at 15 apiece with 4:18 to go, 15-15. We'll be back right after this. Back from the timeout break with the game tied up at 15 apiece. Mount Lebanon has possession as Quaker Valley's in a 2-3 zone. Strife hands it off to Palmer. Now she'll hand it off to Smith. Collins now far wing will kick it to Strife. Strife in and out. As Collins will pull up with the little mid-range. Doesn't get that one to go. Rebound Garby. Flips it over to Washington far side. Puts a good move on Connor, now flips it back to Garby. Garby will look to drive. Pass inside, deflected by Connor. Back out to Garby in the corner, and she walked. Blue Devils basketball, 3:40 left in the second quarter. The game tied at 15 apiece. Mount Lebanon not shooting the ball particularly well. As they'll have a 2-3 zone again for the Quakers. With Mount Lebanon struggling from the three-point line, but they are capable of knocking down the three-pointer. Connor puts a good move on Johns and will look to drive. Flips it back over to Collins. She'll pull it out now. Over to Strife, back to Collins. Collins near side. Smith, corner three. Ball bouncing around in the hands of Washington. Corinne Washington, the 5'11 senior. Flips it over to Garby near side. She'll step back, too strong on that play. Garby fighting for an extra possession, gets one. Back up to Washington. She'll look to drive. Washington gets that one to fall. Corinne Washington, the senior 5'11 guard, gets that one to fall, and all of a sudden Quaker Valley with a 2-point lead. Blue Devils looking to answer. Palmer, far side. Now Strife. Now Collins. Mount Lebanon taking their time offensively. Quaker Valley still in that 2-3 zone. Connor, top of the key, will look to drive. Doesn't get it to go, but fouled by Washington, and Connor will go to the line for two. Connor gets the first one to go, as we'll see. Bella Billick will come in for the Blue Devils as Smith will take a seat. Connor goes 1 for 2, but Billick ends up with the rebound. And I don't know what they're calling. Did not know what that was. Maybe a hit to the head, I have no idea. Nonetheless, Mount Lebanon possession. Collins top of the key, now Palmer. Palmer, right wing three. Nothing but net. Morgan Palmer gets that three-pointer to go. Ray will look it up, flip it to Johns, and she'll get that layup to go. Tie ball game now as we hit the 2-minute mark here in the second quarter. Strife now to Billick. Bella Billick, the sophomore, kicks it to Palmer, finds a cutting Strife. Doesn't get that layup to go. Last touch by Billick, I believe. And it is. Quakers basketball. As Garby will come back in for Quaker Valley. And Blackmer will take a seat. Inbound to Washington. Washington, top of the key on Connor. Will look to drive. Does. Little step back. Gets that one to go. Corinne Washington coming along here in the second quarter. Quaker Valley with the lead. 1:30 remaining in the second quarter. Mount Lebanon trying to take the lead or tie it. Connor, she'll try to right wing three. Deep. Gets that one to go. Ashley Connor, nothing but net. And Mount Lebanon takes the lead now. Washington taking her time, guarded by Connor. 1:10 in the second quarter. We'll flip inside to Garby, guarded by Strife, and they're going to call out a walk again. Looked like the right call to me. And for Mount Lebanon, Petco and Smith come back in, and Palmer and Billick will take a seat for the Blue Devils. Now Connor near side. Connor will flip it over to Strife, now Smith. Back to Connor, far side. 40 ticks remaining in this second quarter. Finds top of the key, Smith will work her way to the right side. Inside the Petco, pivots. And they're going to call a jump ball on Ray. I believe the possession is to Mount Lebanon. Check that. Quaker Valley, excuse me. So Quaker Valley gets the ball with 30 seconds remaining. Connor got a tip of it. Finds the hands of Smith. Out to Petco. She'll try the top of the key three. That one wide of the mark. Rebound Washington. And a foul is going to be called on one of the Blue Devils, either Collins or Strife. And it will be called on Strife. And Palmer will come back in the game. And Strife will take a seat for the Blue Devils. So look ahead to Washington. Washington will look for Garby. That's another walk. The clock is still running, folks. I believe 18 or so seconds should be added back. 18, 19 in that range, but it doesn't look like they're going to do anything. So it will be 15.9 seconds remaining. But the referees will come together and discuss if they want to put time back on the clock. From my angle, it looked like 18.5, 19.5 seconds will be added on the clock. Yeah, 19 it looks like. Check that, 18.9. Strife will return for the Blue Devils. Petco will take a seat. 18.9 seconds remaining. Mount Lebanon looking to extend their 1-point lead. Collins will flip it back to Connor, right wing 3 try. Too strong. Rebound right to Collins. She gets that layup to go. And Smith, that one's going to be out of bounds on Smith. Petco returns for the Blue Devils. Streith will take a seat. They find Johns. Johns will have to get a shot up quickly. Flips it to Ray. And too little, too late. So at the half, your score, Mount Lebanon 24, the Quaker Valley Quakers 21. We'll be back right after this halftime, bringing you the second half of this close matchup. Ready to bring you the second half here, ladies and gentlemen, with Mount Lebanon taming with a 3-point lead over Quaker Valley. Hello, everybody. Colin ready to bring you this second half. Mount Lebanon not shooting the ball particularly well in the first half, but Quaker Valley has stayed in this game, and I believe Mount Lebanon will start with possession here to begin the second half, and they will. And they will. Quaker Valley in a 2-3 zone, and Mount Lebanon will start possession. Murdoch in the corner. She came out earlier, back in. Flips it over to Collins, looking for Connor inside, can't find her. Strife will penetrate now. Back out to Collins. Over to Palmer. Morgan Palmer, the lone senior on this Mount Lebanon team. Flips it inside to Murdoch. Looking back to Collins. She'll take the little mid-range pull-up. Doesn't go. Gets her own rebound. Doesn't get the layup to go, but gets her own rebound again. But cannot finish it out. Push it out. Johns. Good bounce pass to Blackmer. And she'll get that one to go. A 1-point game now. Corner, Collins back out to Murdoch. Palmer will look to drive. Flips it over to Collins. Doesn't get that one to go, but it is fouled and will go to the line. Good pass by Ashley Connor. As Collins goes 1 of 2 from the line, back to a 2-point game now for the Blue Devils. Washington will handle it. Corinne Washington, the leading scorer for the Quakers in the first half. Doesn't get that tough shot to go. Collins now has it, and she's got numbers ahead. Bounce pass to Connor, and gets that one to go, Ashley Connor. Good bounce pass from Brooke Collins. They'll look for the back door to Garby. Tough fadeaway shot, but gets that one to go. Bailey Garby, the senior, 5'11" guard, gets that one to fall. Connor looks inside for Collins. Can't corral it. Mount Lebanon with the turnover. A little far-fetched for Collins to handle. And Quaker Valley does have possession. Washington gets a screen from Johns, and will look to go to the corner. Up over to Johns. Back out to Washington, going against Connor. Gives it to Garby, back to Washington. Up against Connor. Trying the little fadeaway. Might have gotten away with the foul. Did Connor. Doesn't matter. Corinne Washington gets that one to go. Tie ball game. 5:20 remaining in the third quarter. We got a tie game, folks. Connor. She'll try to top it a key 3. Gets that to go. Nothing but net, Ashley Connor. And now Ray has a full head of steam, but she'll work things back out. Now gets a screen from Johns. Check that. Just passes it over to Washington. Washington will look at inside the Garby. She'll pull up for a little mid-ranger and gets that one to fall. Timeout, Quaker Valley. A full timeout with 4:49 remaining. Mount Lebanon 30, Quaker Valley 29. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Back to action now with Mount Lebanon holding on to a 1-point lead. Quaker Valley took the full timeout. And it looks like they'll go back to their 1-3-1 zone. And indeed they will. Garby at the top. Collins will look to penetrate, now flips it over to Palmer. Looking inside, Connor gets it to her. Murdoch looking for Collins, and that's going to be on the floor. A jump ball. Quaker Valley possession. So the 1-3-1 worked so far for the Quakers. Ray flips it over to Washington. Washington penetrating on Connor, flips it back out. Driving is Johns, flips it over to Kuzma. Kuzma over to Ray. And they'll set up a play. Screen by Johns, looking for Johns cutting. Now looking for Kuzma inside, poked away from Murdoch. Quaker Valley does retain possession now. 4:05 remaining in the third quarter. Mount Lebanon with a 30-29 lead over Quaker Valley. Here's Garby now, guarded by Smith. Will hand things off to Washington, top of the key. Looking for the back door to Garby, finds her. Good pass by Washington. Garby misses the layup, and a tripping foul will be called, I believe, on Ray. Jordan Ray, the sophomore, I believe, is going to get called for this. Indeed, she will. So, Mount Lebanon holds on to the 1-point lead, but looking for more here on the offensive side. 6 points scored in this half for the Blue Devils. Garby, that will be a kicked ball violation. Now Mount Lebanon will inbound it. Connor now over to Collins. Collins corner to Smith. Thought about the three. Will pull things out. Now flip it to the top of the key. Connor over to Palmer. Wing. Doesn't get that three to go. Rebound Johns. Now Ray flips things up to Garby. Poked away by Smith. Out of bounds. Touch last by Gina Smith, the sophomore. Here's Garby. Over to Ray, right wing. Near side is Washington, back to Ray, and that's going to be a walk. Gotten away with that a couple of times, but not there. Strife returns for the Blue Devils as Collins will take a seat. Strife will look for Connor. Low block. Kicks it out to Palmer. That one doesn't go on the left wing three try as we've hit the 2:55 mark in the third quarter. Washington is looking to drive. Guarded by Connor. Back to Washington now. She'll penetrate. Kicked away by Murdoch, but Washington retaliates. Flips it over to Ray. Good defense by the Blue Devils. Washington near side, guarded by Connor. Will get a screen from Garby, now looking to find Ray. Ray, right wing three try. Too wide of the mark. Rebound, Palmer flips it over to Connor, and she'll look to push now. Ashley Connor, the junior, looking to get something going here. Strife in the corner will pull things back out. And flip it over to Murdoch. Murdoch tried for the bounce pass to Connor, kicked away by Kuzma. And we'll see a sub. Blackmer returns for the Quakers. Brooke Collins returns for the Blue Devils. Murdoch will take a seat. 2:08 remaining in this third quarter. Mount Lebanon holding on for dear life against Quaker Valley. Connor thought about the three, now will take a little mid-range pull-up. And a very late foul called on the play. They're going to call a foul on number 10, Johns. Connor will go to the line for two. As Connor hits both free throws. And a three-point game now for Mount Lebanon. Washington top of the key, guarded by Connor. Will come and get a screen is Garby. Tipped away by Smith, now she'll get on the ground for it. And a jump ball called, possession Mount Lebanon. So a smart play by Smith, the sophomore. Gains Mount Lebanon possession, turnover by Quaker Valley. 1:40 remaining in the third quarter. As a tough pass made by Strife, stolen by Garby, over to Washington now, and she'll look to drive. Washington little pull up short. Rebound Collins, tripped on it, and another jump ball is going to be called. This time possession Quaker Valley. And a sub will come in for the Blue Devils. Murdoch will come in. Palmer will come out, for the Blue Devils. Garby now has it, a screen from Johns. Blackmer with the screen, near side. Almost another, and Blackmer gets it, tries a mid-range pull-up, doesn't go, and another jump ball is going to be called. 3 in a row. Kuzma and Strife fighting for it on the floor, but possession Mount Lebanon. We've just hit the 1 minute mark here in this third quarter. Mount Lebanon with a 32-29 lead over the Quaker Valley Quakers. Connor tried to pull it out, now look to drive. Flips it over to Collins, corner three. That one doesn't go. Last touch by Connor, and Quaker Valley does have possession. And Palmer will come back in for the Blue Devils. Strife will come out. Washington now has it. Will go to the corner now, flip it to Garby. Bailey Garby, the senior, guarded by the sophomore Smith. Flips it over to Johns, back to Garby. Back over to Johns. 20 ticks remaining in the third quarter. Finds Garby, guarded by Smith, tightly. Flips it over to Kuzma. Garby will look to drive, now flip it to Washington. Washington looking to make a play. Good fadeaway pull-up, doesn't get that one to go, but will go to the line for two. Short on the first one. but hits the second one. Washington does. Murdoch can run the baseline and find Connor. Connor was going to have to hoist it fast. She'll look to drive, put it up, gets it off before the buzzer, but short of the mark. So at the end of 3, Mount Lebanon 32 to Quaker Valley Quakers 30. We'll be back for the fourth quarter right after this. Fourth quarter about to begin with the Blue Devils holding on to a 2-point lead. Hello, everybody. Colin Whitty ready to bring you this fourth quarter. Quaker Valley does have possession, though. Inbound it to Garby, guarded tightly by Strife. We'll flip it over to Washington near side. Connor giving Washington that 3, doesn't take it, flips it out to Johns instead. Look at Kuzma, comes and gets a stream. Stolen by Palmer. Palmer will look to drive and gets that layup to fall. Morgan Palmer. Now here's Washington looking to drive against Connor. Good defense from Ashley Connor. Flips it over to Kuzma, back out to Washington. Come get the screen, does Kuzma. Over to Garby, pump fake one way, goes the other. Looks and finds Washington near side wing. Looking to post up, Kuzma does. Up against Palmer. Doesn't get the layup to go and will be fouled by Palmer. Didn't get the post fadeaway to go, but is fouled. And it will be under the basket, Quaker Valley. John's top of the key. We'll flip it to Garby. Guarded tightly by Connor is Washington. And a blocking foul is going to be called, I believe, on Ashley Connor. And it is. Check that on Brooke Collins, excuse me. The junior gets called for the foul. Inbound to Garby. Will look to drive on Stripe. Good bounce pass over to Kuzma. Gets that wide open layup to go and does. Back to a 2-point game now. Quaker Valley in the 1-3-1 zone. Strife corner to Collins will back things out. Check that Murdoch. Palmer now. Given that 3-pointer but flips it over to Collins. Collins penetrating in and out. Taking their time are the Blue Devils. Over to Strife in the corner. Strife over to Connor. Connor will take the pull-up and nothing but net Ashley Connor. Washington will look to drive on Connor. The foul and one. Corinne Washington, the senior 5'11" guard, gets that one to go up and over Ashley Connor. And a sub for the Blue Devils Gina Smith will come back in. Strife will take a seat for the Blue Devils. And Washington hits the and one try. The 3-point play from Washington, back to a 1-point lead for the Blue Devils. Far side is Connor, back out to Collins. 5:45 remaining in this fourth quarter. Tried to get the cutting Palmer, stolen by Garby, and she'll get that layup to fall. All of a sudden, Quaker Valley takes the lead. Timeout, Mount Lebanon. A 30-second timeout by Mount Lebanon with the score. 5:29 remaining in the fourth quarter. Mount Lebanon 36, Quaker Valley 37. Back from the 30-second timeout. With Mount Lebanon having possession here. Back in the 2-3 zone is Quaker Valley. Palmer over to Connor, over to Murdoch. Murdoch will look to drive, and a holding foul is going to be called, I believe, on Johns, number 10. Yep, indeed, on Nora Johns, the sophomore 5'7" guard. Collins has got it in, does get it into Palmer, back out to Connor. Ashley Connor looking to penetrate. 5 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter. Palmer will try to left wing three. Gets that one to go, nothing but net. Morgan Palmer. Here's Washington now guarded by Murdoch. Murdoch gets a poke at it. On the floor, diving. Up to Palmer, and we'll slow things up. Back to Connor. Flips things off to Collins. Connor will try to left wing three. That one's too strong. Rebound goes right to Washington, and she gets the foul called. Does Murdoch. Murdoch gets a piece of Washington. And Strife will come into the game for Murdoch after getting the steal on Washington. Smith will pick up Washington. We'll flip it to Kuzma. Little mid-range pull-up. That one doesn't go. Blackmer fighting for the ball. And I believe they're going to call that Mount Lebanon basketball because Blackmer was out of bounds. And they're going to call timeout is Quaker Valley. Full timeout. So we'll be back in 60 seconds. And a trap coming for Quaker Valley on Collins. Back from the action from the full timeout from Quaker Valley. Connor will just hold the ball. .320 remaining now in this fourth quarter. Garby almost got that steal as Mount Lebanon's playing keep away here. Timeout, Mount Lebanon. .255 remaining, fourth quarter, Mount Lebanon 39, Quaker Valley 37. We'll take a 60-second break. We'll be back with the remaining .255 right after this. Mount Lebanon has possession here. Penetrating is Palmer. We'll look to back it out to Collins. 2:30 remaining. Mount Lebanon playing keep away. Mount Lebanon keeping the ball away from Quaker Valley. No shot clock in high school basketball. Palmer now will flip it over to Collins. 2 minutes remaining now. Almost a foul on Garby there, but no foul called. Johns thought she had a foul, so she stopped playing. Strife will back it out now. Give it to Palmer. Back to Strife now, Collins. They may want to foul here, does Quaker Valley, and they do. 1:30 now remaining in the fourth quarter. Crazy how 3 minutes can go by so fast. .90 ticks remaining here in the ball game. Palmer will look for someone to pass to. Oldecker will call timeout. 13 seconds come off the scoreboard. Your score remains the same. Mount Lebanon 39, Quaker Valley 37. Mount Lebanon will inbound. Flips it to Collins. Oh, and that's almost stolen by Johns. Some miscommunication from Collins and Strife there. 8 seconds come off the clock. 1:09 remaining in the fourth. They find Connor. She'll go for the layup. Doesn't get it to go, but is fouled and will go to the line for two. Connor looking to make this a two-possession game for the Blue Devils. Call fouled on Darby, her first. Connor misses the first. Gets that second one to go. A 3-point game now. Have to wonder if Quaker Valley will go for the tie or try and make it a 1-point game again and force Mount Lebanon to hit their free throws. Inbound it to Garby. Guarded by Smith. Washington will come and get a screen. Flips it to Washington, guarded by Murdoch. Stripped by Collins, but a foul is going to be called. Not in one-on-one quite yet, so they'll take it under the basket. 56.1 seconds remaining. Johns will inbound it. Looking for Kuzma. Looking for Washington, now stolen by Murdoch, but a jump ball is going to be called. But Mount Lebanon does retain possession. Strife will come back into the game as Smith. They'll go offense, defense, will the Blue Devils. And for Quaker Valley, Ray will come back in the game as Johns will take a seat. Timeout, Quaker Valley. Full timeout. Mount Lebanon will inbound it. Connor has it. She'll go in for the layup. Misses. Collins fighting for it. Quaker Valley possession. Connor with the missed layup. Washington now. Top of the key. Guarded by Murdoch. Will get a screen from Garby. Go the other way. Washington will try to pull up. That one doesn't go. Garby fighting hard. No foul called. Possession, Blue Devils. 35 seconds remaining. Johns returns for Quaker Valley. Kuzma will take a seat. Inbound to Connor. They're going to have to foul suit, and they do. Connor will go to the line for 1-and-1. 1-1. Short. Rebound, Washington. Still a one-possession game. Does Quaker Valley go for the tie or try and make it a 1-point lead? Johns will look to drive. Pull up. That one doesn't go. Rebound, Connor. They're going to have to foul soon. Check that. Ray will foul Connor, and Connor will go back to redeem herself with the 1-1. Ray's fourth. Team foul number 8. 1-1. Short. Rebound, Washington. Timeout, Quaker Valley. 10.4 seconds remaining. We got a nail biter on our hands, folks. .4 seconds remaining. Quaker Valley basketball. Mount Lebanon leading by 3. Mount Lebanon struggling with their free throws. Late in this game could come and play dividends. Johns will inbound it. Look for this to go to Washington or Garby. In the hands of Washington. Back to Johns now. Back to Washington. She'll try a 3. No foul called. Quaker Valley coach not happy. And I don't know what. Oh, they're going to give Quaker Valley the possession. So, a catch and a shot here for the Quakers. 1.3 seconds. Washington will have it. Gotta hoist it. Doesn't get it to go. Mount Lebanon wins. Your final score, Mount Lebanon 40, Quaker Valley 37. So, for that, Colin Woody saying so long, everybody. Your final score, Mount Lebanon 40, Quaker Valley 37. Good night, everybody.
Oh, that's right. I don't think they're in.